Today I'm going to talk about lasting fat loss, longevity, and loving life. And I think they're all really interconnected. Again, my name is Sergio Rojas. I've been a holistic health coach since 1997 and a functional trainer. 25 years now I've been doing this. And I started my career working with some pro athletes. There's Joakim Noah from the Bulls, Carlos Zambrano from the Cubs, and quite a few other athletes, a lot of CEOs, and then some companies. Eventually, I got appointed to the White House to work for the President Obama and Michelle Obama a lot on the Let's Move campaign. I was the director of the President's Council on Fitness, Sports, and Nutrition. Been invited to be on the Today Show a few times, the Dr. Oz Show a few times. I was actually recognized as the second place for Trainer of the Year on the Dr. Oz Show. So came close to being the Trainer of the Year, but that's all right. It's all just a good thing. I'm getting to serve and help people. Most recently, I built a wellness program for a trucking company, and it was nationally recognized. I won some awards and got to speak for the National Highway Traffic Association for changing truck drivers' lives. And we worked with over 700 truck drivers and got many, many of them off medications, losing hundreds of pounds and keeping it off for years using my mindfulness approach. And basically, I found 10 micro habits that help you prolong life and fight disease and improve also your mental health. That we kind of added and created a program out of that. So most recently, I wrote my first book, like Charmaine. So we just released a book. Mine came out in February of this year called Say Goodbye to Belly Fat. It's 6 steps to mastering insulin and losing weight for good. So that book is available now. So just one of the things that I wanted to share with you so you get a little bit of background on me and my career. What I want to share with you today is really talk about why lasting fat loss and not just fat loss, right? And there's 2 things. One, it's not about body shaming. It's just about what is the visceral fat in our body doing that runs around our organs that is causing so much problems with chronic disease. And the reason I call it lasting fat loss is because you want to find a way to lose weight for good. We know that people can lose weight. People lose weight all the time. But 98% of people that go on a diet gain all their weight back, plus an average of 10% within 6 to 12 months. So we know that we're losing weight the wrong way. And we're yo-yo dieting, which you see the picture of the yo-yo there. Why longevity? Because it's not just about you. It's about the people around you. Charmaine has had the blessing that her mother has lived to 103 years old, and very few people can say that, right? But just being around longer and having a higher quality of life during those latter years is super critical. And then why loving life? I think it's just our true nature. And that's why I wore that shirt, true. Loving life is our true nature. I was blessed enough to go to India several times and meet the Dalai Lama and interview him for a radio show I used to do called Peace Waves on social justice. And the Dalai Lama, the one thing that he shared with me that stuck with me the most was his comment when he said, Sergio, whether you're Christian or Buddhist or a Muslim or have no religion at all, what we believe and know is our truth is that we are all created out of pure light and love, and it's our deepest nature to live a creative, healthy life. And the reason we know that is because when we're honest and selfless and we help, we serve people, when we take care of our body and minds and nourish it, there's a peace and a harmony deep inside that no one can deny. But when you lie, steal, cheat, deceive, you're greedy, or you neglect or abuse your body, there's a disharmony and uneasiness and a sadness deep down that you can't deny. And that was really touching. And I said, well, what if you are a good person, but you don't take care of your body and mind? You're not healthy. He's like, deep down inside, there's a disharmony there. You have to be congruent with the mind, body, and the spirit. So it's not that you need to live a perfect life. I like steak, pizza, whiskey, wine, and chocolate, but how often and how much? So it's really about nourishing your body, your mind, and your spirit on a regular basis. And that helps you to love life. And that is our deepest nature, right? So, but you think about what is the current state of our health right now, right? In America alone, we spend $370 billion a year on weight loss. 600 billion globally, but 370, more than half just the United States alone. Yet obesity and being overweight is increasing nonstop. It's just exponentially growing. Right now, 70% of Americans are overweight, 1/3 are obese, and still half Americans go on a diet every single year while we have more access to information and it's easier, right? And again, we're still getting sicker and younger and taking more medications at a younger age. So the current state is not a good one. we're unhealthier and unhappier. And I think that's what really got me into this health space 25 years ago. I was, like Dr. Lori, dealing with some anxiety, depression issues in my, mostly anger in the latter part of my teens until my early 20s. And I just got into an exercise program to lose weight and save money and stop partying so I could buy a motorcycle because I thought that was going to make me feel better. And what I realized is just getting in shape for 4 months changed my state of mind. When I bought that motorcycle, my first motorcycle, I remember realizing, first thinking that, wow, this is the happiness that I wanted. This is what's going to get rid of my anger and depression. But soon after that thought, I mean, like literally instantly, it's like, no, what got rid of your anger and depression isn't the motorcycle, it's the healthy lifestyle. And again, I just think too many people are unhealthy and unhappy. And the struggle is real, right? Think about how many people are confused about food and even exercise. What foods am I supposed to eat? Hear and read so many different things all the time. You are told these type of exercises are good. Stop doing cardio. Start doing only HIIT. Start doing Tabata. Start doing all kinds of things. Or no, do longer cardio. It's confusing, but I'm going to kind of hopefully clear all this up for you in these 15 or 20 minutes, or at least give you a good sense of how to really shift your metabolism to lose weight. So it's long haul, improve your longevity, and start loving life even more. But again, how many people are lacking energy, motivation, feel exhausted? And that might be you on occasion, right? The amount of inflammation, bloating, aches, and pains have become the new norm. I'm working with a coaching client, and she tried some new things literally in 2 or 3 days, and she said, and then it was her birthday 3 days after just being mindful and eating healthier. And then 3 days later, she had her birthday, and she goes, I can't believe how bad 1 or 2 slices of pizza and a piece of cake made me feel. And I'm like, it's because inflammation, bloating, aches, and pains have become the new norm. We're feeling this way on such a daily basis that we're desensitized to it. But when you really clean your body and mind up, and then you have the unhealthy things, you start to realize, wow, this does bring inflammation, bloating, aches, and pains. So how often and how much is really key. And then the amount of stress, poor sleep, lack of focus, and the crazy food cravings we're starting to experience. And that's what people have. I mean, it's just this automatic response. They smell something or they're stressed and you go eat. So hopefully some of the stuff you are managing well, but if this struggle is real, again, you're not alone. This is going on so much with so many people. So what do? You go on a diet. Most diets tell you to cut your carbs and or your fat and or your calories a ton, right? And the cool thing is that in the beginning, you lose 10, 15, maybe even 20 pounds. And I see that very, very common. Most people start to feel excited. But after, 6 weeks to 12 weeks, usually 2 to 3 months at the most, you're plateauing and like you can't figure out why. The energy starts to dip. It becomes hard to focus. And you actually may even become irritable, which is very, very common with most diets. And you start getting these crazy cravings. Why is there a picture of a baby? I know, but this is a story that a client of mine had told me when she was going through her diet, and it really kind of struck me so much. But she said her cravings were so bad that her grandchildren, as her daughter had just had a child, literally started to look like food. Like one arm looked like a sausage, one arm looked like a Twinkie, the head looked like a big donut ball. And she just felt like taking a bite out of her grandkid, and it just made me laugh. But she's like, her cravings were so bad that the rolls on the baby started to look like food. And what did she end up doing? She ended up going and binging, right? And that happens to most people, right? We're going through this diet. We have results in the beginning. We struggle because the science is flawed. Obviously, 98% of people would not gain all their weight back if dieting was a smart choice and a healthy choice for us. The sad thing is that most people blame themselves when it's the science of the diet in and of itself that is really flawed. So I want to help you today, just give you one key that I think it's changed my life. It's changed the life of my clients because I lost and gained between 20 and 35 pounds at least 8 times. And half of those were during the beginning of my career when I was a trainer and nutritionist. So I understand if people are struggling and confused, because even as a health professional, I was still confused. It took until this thing that I learned that I'm going to share with you today that shifted everything. But if you really want to help improve your health, have lasting weight loss, improve your longevity and loving life, the master is mastering your insulin. If you can learn to master insulin, this hormone is what controls everything and impacts everything. And why is it important? Because when you can master your insulin, you improve your metabolism, you regulate hormones better, you improve your sleep, your brain function, your gut gets healthier, and you can lose fat. You start to metabolize fat for fuel versus storing it. Because then again, your insulin will help, if you can manage it properly, helps to reduce your fat storage. Because if you have insulin spikes on a regular basis, you store more fat. It's also tied to every health marker that you can think of, basically blood pressure, cholesterol, heart disease, even certain cancers, dementia and depression are also included in there, inflammation, and again, sugar cravings. So mastering insulin is such a critical thing. And of course, now the question is, how do we master insulin? Well, you follow the simple steps in my book. So I'm going to give those to you quickly here so you can really understand what it takes to master insulin and lose weight for good, which to me is so critical. The first thing is called mindful or conscious eating. When I worked with over 700 truck drivers, and I've coached thousands of people throughout my career, I don't tell them what to eat first, I tell them how to eat. Because if you just think about this, how many of you, by show of hands, and you can put some marks up there, comments, or hit the little buttons there, but how many of you eat stressed, in a hurry, or while you're working on a regular basis, at least half the time? And when you do that, it actually destroys your metabolism because you shut your gut down. It's a sympathetic nervous response. It's fight or flight. Even if it's a micro dose of it, our body says, I can't digest food right now. So we cause all kinds of gut problems. We don't absorb the nutrients. And when we're unconscious, stressed, in a hurry, insulin and adrenaline go up. So we actually eat more. So again, one of the things that we got to do is learn to eat more consciously and mindfully. I teach that through slow, deep breathing and prayer before your meals. Choose slow, be in a peaceful state, be in a happy state, as you see the young lady here eating. Don't be stressed, don't be working, don't be in a hurry. Don't be watching anything stressful on TV. Just pause, enjoy with a friend or by yourself in nature. Slow down, eat, and take your time, and you'll digest the food a lot better. And because we're naturally hardwired for survival, you'll start choosing meals that are healthier for you naturally without dieting. The second thing is to get your gut healthy. Our gut microbiome is so important that it's really the gateway. It's what kind of decides what we're going to do with food as it enters into our system. And so many people have such unregulated or imbalanced gut microbiome because they can't manage stress properly, they don't sleep right, and they're eating processed foods on a regular basis, drinking alcohol or smoking tobacco, both ruin gut microbiome. So again, I like wine too, so it's just on occasion and how much and how often. And how much processed foods, am I getting natural prebiotics and probiotics in my food? So really kind of focusing on getting your gut healthy is super critical for mastering your insulin. When you have an unhealthy gut, your insulin is unmanageable. And as you keep spiking insulin through high sugar foods, through stress, through lack of sleep, it starts to cause, again, problems with the gut. So it's this negative cycle. So what I really want to encourage you to do is start looking for foods with prebiotics and probiotics and make sure that they're in your diet, and also making sure you're eating more natural foods versus processed foods. You don't need something with 36 ingredients in there. 1 or 2 ingredients, maybe 3, 4 tops, or just real whole foods on a regular basis. Managing your macros. Here's one that I love talking about because I think what people get confused about here is how much protein, how much fat, and how much carbs should I get? And nobody is the same. We all have different microbiome. We all have different genetics. So there's nothing that's right for everybody. So don't believe any book that's telling you this is the perfect way to lose weight. We're all different. And the mindfulness that we taught in step 1 will tell you, hey, I feel more energetic with this food versus having an energy crash. Because if you eat slow and mindfully and you still get an energy crash, that food spiked your insulin. So start paying attention. What was it? Was it the protein? Was it the fiber? Can I switch it around a little bit? So thinking about managing your macros is, 1, knowing that everybody is different. So being mindful is going to tell you if my energy is increasing with food, because that's why we eat, for energy, right? It's kind of that simple. And if you are increasing your energy, then the food is good. You're getting good balance, good nutrients. If your energy goes down and I need a soda or a coffee or something like that after my meal, then you're spiking insulin. So be careful with that. The second thing I want to add to this is there are no such thing as, how much protein, carbs. We got to look at the quality as much or more than the quantity. So don't cut out carbs. Think about what are the quality of my carbs? Am I getting ancient grains and lentils and beans and good vegetables and fruits, right? That's very different than breads and pastas and cookies and crackers and cakes and all that kind of stuff. Not that you can't have those on occasion, but those are the carbs that are going to spike your insulin. It's not that carbs are bad, it's what type of carbs, complex or simple. Same thing with protein, because, it doesn't matter, it's protein. Well, listen, if it's a fast food burger, I don't know if anybody's worked at a meat plant, the quality of that is not good, and how much animal protein do we really need? I think we overconsume by far. When we look at centurions that live, around the world that live the longest, they eat mostly fish, and land animals, they eat only once or twice a week to once or twice a month, not once or twice a day. And they're eating naturally wild-raised animals, not farm-raised animals that have unnatural diets and that are pumped with a bunch of hormones and antibiotics or processed meats, right? So think about the quality of your macros first, and then we can start playing with the quantity of your macros, how much protein, how much fiber, how much fat works for each person, and we're all different. So just understand that, and it's really a simple way to start thinking and moving towards a much healthier diet and lifestyle. The fourth step is fasting. I think that people, it's starting to catch buzz, but I think people are afraid of it. And they think it's, I can't fast. It's impossible. I would never be able to give up food. It's way easier than you think, and it's way more impactful than you think. And there's different types of fasting. There's intermittent fasting or time-restricted fasting. There's alternate day fasting. There's fasting mimicking. And they all have benefits. But what we do know is that after about 14 or 16 hours, our body starts to regulate insulin better. The inflammation in the gut the inflammation comes down, the gut bacteria starts to normalize, and we start to metabolize fat for fuel as we get to the 24 to 36 hours of fasting. And then if you go past that, you even have human growth hormone, testosterone for a lot of women that are going through hormone issues. And in men, once we hit 45, 50 years old, fasting is one of the most important and best ways you can do to start regulating your hormones, to start increasing HGH or human growth hormone and testosterone naturally, to start bringing estrogen down naturally. So fasting is just a really powerful tool. And the key is to just introduce yourself gradually to it and try different styles of fasting. To me, I think when I ask clients to try a 16-8 fast, so where they're eating all their calories within 8 hours, it's not that hard, but it's harder than if you go all the way to 24 or 36 hours. And what I mean by that is if you have dinner on, let's say, a Wednesday night, try not having any food until dinner on Thursday night. And that's a 24-hour fast. A lot of times when clients do that, they'll actually wait till the next day for breakfast, which is now about a 36-hour fast. And that has even more benefits, which is super powerful. The fifth step is movement and exercise. I think that we all know this. We know exercise is super important for us. It's good for our brain health. It's good for our bones and joints. It's good for our heart and lungs. It's good for our metabolism. It's good for belly fat. It's good for everything. Exercise is just super important. What I want to encourage to you is start thinking of it as a gift and not a chore. So start in small increments, even if it's just 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes at a time, and become consistent at that. Because how many people have started exercising for 30 minutes or an hour a day, 2 or 3 days a week, and then all of a sudden they stop, right? So be consistent by doing it small increments, and that's a much better way to make it last and become a habit and make it internal. And then lastly, sleep. Not enough people get good quality sleep and get enough sleep. So sleep hygiene is just really, really important. We can't be drinking caffeine once the afternoon hits past 2 or 3 o'clock, we shouldn't be drinking caffeine. We got to turn the electronics off, before an hour before bedtime. We got to find ways to bring ourselves down and relax, make the room nice and cool, make the room dark. I use an eye pillow like the kitty cat here, but sleep is connected to everything in our health, including insulin. It's actually the most researched topic in all of wellness. So those are the 6 simple steps. It's not complicated. You just got to work on each of these, and all of a sudden your weight loss is lasting and forever. I'm going to close off here by two quick little slides here. It's my spiritual responsibility and duty to care for my body and mind so that I'm able to serve others, live my higher purpose, and enjoy life more fully. Don't strive for perfection. Instead, strive for awareness. With more awareness, you'll always move towards health more naturally and happiness, which is your natural state. Here's my websites. If you want a copy of my book, My Forever Fat Loss has the ebook with all the bonuses. You can also get the paperback there or on Amazon. I have an app with exercise that takes you through 4 months of learning how to develop functional movement and mobility so you can stay more youthful, energetic, and pain-free for life. And then I also am offering $400 off of my one-on-one coaching. It's usually a 4-month or an 8-month program. We talk twice a month, and then you have access to all the other stuff. But I'm doing $400 off for this group. Just send me a message. You can find me on social media at Vitality by Sergio on any of those. If you're interested in the coaching or any corporate wellness programs for you or your employees, SergioRojasConnect.com is my website. And I want to thank you. Many health and blessings.